Today's lesson is how to determine a ratio versus a scale factor, what the similarities are and what the differences are. So to start, let's go ahead and define ratio first. So a ratio is a comparison of two or more numbers that indicate their size in relation to each other. So a ratio is basically a comparison of things. So an example of a ratio, you can write a ratio using a colon, A colon B. You can write a ratio using the word 2, A, 2B, or as a fraction. And if we're writing this as a fraction, it's important to know that the first value is the numerator of the fraction. All of these are ratios. So let's go ahead and just pick a number. I'm going to pick 3 to 2. That's a ratio. And what we're going to do is talk about ratios in comparison to objects. Let's see, I'm going to get some binder clips here. 1, 2. Okay, so a 3-to-1 ratio means for every 3 binder clips I have, you have 2. So a 3-to-2 ratio means for every 3 items I have of something, the other person has 2. So a 3-to-2 ratio. Let's try another one. Let's try 1 to 4. A 1 to 4 ratio would mean for every 1 binder clip that I have, the other person has 4 binder clips. A 1 to 4 ratio, for every 1 binder clip I have, the other person has 4 binder clips, 1 to 4. Okay, let's try another. 2 to 5. This means for any 2 binder clips that I have, the other person has a total of 5 binder clips. 2 to 5, a 2 to 5 ratio. So ratios kind of compare what you have to what someone else has, and they're compared that way. So a 2 to 5 ratio, I have 2 binder clips, you have 5 binder clips. So for every 2 I have, you have 5. Let's kind of see how that relates to something called a scale factor. Okay. A scale factor is a ratio of corresponding values. And this is a very loose term. Okay. Ratio of corresponding values. If we're talking in terms of shapes, it's a ratio of their corresponding side measurements. If we're talking in terms of other things, it's a ratio of how much you have to a total. So the way that we change a scale factor to a ratio, or a ratio to a scale factor. So let's talk about the ratio 1 to 4. We're going to call that the A and B value. To change a ratio to a scale factor, and I'm going to be using SF as scale factor, you take the A term and put that over the A plus B term. So what this will correspond to is 1 goes on top, A plus B is 1 plus 4. So this corresponds to a value of 1 over 5. Now a scale factor is different from a ratio. A ratio, a 1 to 4 ratio using binder clips means for every 1 binder clip I have, you have 4. That's the ratio. For every 1 I have, you have 4. The scale factor means out of the 5 total binder clips, I have 1 of them. So a scale factor compares it to the total number of items, which is why we add the A plus B value. The A value is how much you have plus the remainder. So let's kind of talk through that one more time. I'm going to choose a different value. So my new ratio is going to be 2 to 3. To change that to a scale factor, I take my A and B value A goes on top, and the bottom is A plus B, 2 over 5. So talking about it in terms of a ratio, for every 2 binder clips I have, you have 3 binder clips, a 2 to 3 ratio. In terms of scale factor, out of my 5 total binder clips, I have 2 of them. So scale factor, out of my total 5, I own 2. So that's kind of their similarities and differences of how scale factor and ratios are written and practiced. Ratios kind of compare you to someone else. Scale factors compare you to the whole. So let's practice changing numbers into scale factors. So we'll start down at the first piece. So 5 to 8. To change to a scale factor, I'm going to do an A and a B. Remember, my formula is A over A plus B. So 5 over 5 plus 8, 5 over 13. Okay. Trying another. We're going to take the 6, which is the A value, over 6 plus 12. 6 over 18. So again, as we're reading this, for every 6 binder clips I have, you have 12. In total, I have 6 out of the total 18. Okay, so let's try another. 3 over 3 plus 9. 3 over and 3 plus 9 is 12. All right, let's just do a few more. 14 over 14 plus 2. So 14 over 16. This means for every 14 of something I have, you only have 2 of them. And I have 14 out of the total 16. Last one, 16 over 16 plus 2 gives me a scale factor of 16 over 18. So remember, these topics seem like they're confusing, but if you think about the differences and similarities between them, it makes a little bit more sense. Remember, ratios compare to each other. So again, 2 out of 5, I have 2 binder clips, and you have, let's see, I'm missing one, there you go, and you have 5, versus a scale factor of 2 over 5 would mean out of 7, I have 2. So just remember, ratios compare individuals together. Scale factor compares what you have to the total number of groups.